Stop scrolling. Seriously, if you're anywhere close to retirement age, or if you have a parent, a spouse, or someone you love who depends on Social Security, you need to hear this right now. Because there is a major conversation happening in Washington that could completely reshape how much money you receive every single month for the rest of your life. And most people, I mean the vast majority of everyday Americans, have absolutely no idea this is even being discussed. So stay with me for a minute, because what I'm about to break down for you is not just political noise. This is real. This is specific. And depending on your situation, this could mean tens of thousands of dollars more or less in your retirement. Let's talk about the $50,000 Social Security cap, what it actually means, who it affects, and most importantly, what you can do about it right now. Okay, so let's take a step back for a second, because before we get into the cap itself, I want to make sure everyone watching this is on the same page about how Social Security actually works. Because here's what a lot of people don't realize. Social Security is not just a government handout. It's not charity. It's a system you paid into your entire working life. Every single paycheck you ever received had money taken out of it for Social Security taxes. That's your money. You earned it. You contributed to it. And the fundamental promise of this program is that when you reach retirement age, you get that money back in the form of monthly benefits. Simple enough, right? But here's where it gets complicated. And this is the part I really need you to pay attention to. The amount you receive in Social Security benefits is calculated based on your earnings history. The more you earned during your working years, the higher your monthly benefit. But there's always been a cap, a maximum limit, on how much of your earnings actually count toward that calculation. Right now in 2026, that earnings cap, the amount of your income that's subject to Social Security taxes, sits at $176,100. So if you earned more than that in a single year, anything above that threshold didn't get taxed for Social Security, and it also didn't factor into your benefit calculation. That's how the system has worked for decades. And for most middle-class workers, that cap never really mattered because most people never earned anywhere near that amount. But now, there's a very different kind of cap being talked about, a cap on the benefit side. A $50,000 annual cap on what retirees can actually receive. And that, my friend, changes everything. I'll explain this in plain English because I know this stuff can get confusing fast. What's being proposed, and what's already generating enormous debate, is a policy idea that would limit the total amount any individual retiree can collect in Social Security benefits to $50,000 per year. That works out to roughly $4,167 per month. Now, for a lot of people watching this, that might actually sound like plenty of money. And for many retirees, it is more than their current benefit. But here's the thing, and stay with me, because this part is really important. This cap doesn't just affect the wealthy. It ripples through the entire system in ways that most people aren't thinking about yet. Let's talk about who this would actually affect most directly. Right now, the maximum possible Social Security benefit for someone who retires at full retirement age in 2026 is around $3,822 per month. If you retire at 70, the latest age you can delay benefits and collect maximum credits, that number climbs even higher, up to around $4,873 per month. So if you've worked your entire life, paid maximum Social Security taxes for 30, 40 years, delayed your retirement to maximize your benefit, and you're counting on that higher monthly check, a $50,000 annual cap could actually cut into what you were promised. You did everything right. You planned. You waited. And now the rules might change on you. Here's what a lot of people don't realize about that. The people most affected by this cap aren't billionaires. Billionaires have investment portfolios and private pensions and financial advisors managing their wealth. The people most affected are the workers who spent decades in high-paying trades or who started earning serious money later in life after years of struggling, or who worked in fields where income grew significantly toward the end of their careers. These are teachers who became administrators. These are construction workers who built businesses. These are nurses who became nurse practitioners. Real people with real careers who planned their retirement around what Social Security told them they would receive. And now that number could be capped. Let me give you a real-life example to make this concrete. Let's say you're 68 years old. You worked for 42 years. You were a project manager for most of your career, and in your peak earning years, you were pulling in around $110,000 annually. You've been told by the Social Security Administration that your projected benefit at age 70 is going to be approximately $4,600 per month. That's $55,200 per year. Under a $50,000 cap, you would lose $5,200 annually, every single year, for the rest of your life. Over a 20-year retirement, that's over $100,000 in benefits you paid for. Gone. Does that sound fair? Maybe, maybe not. But that's exactly the debate that's happening right now. Now let's take another step back, because I want to give you context on why this idea is even being floated in the first place. The Social Security Trust Fund, the big pool of money that pays out benefits, has been under enormous financial pressure for years. The projections have been concerning for a long time, and the most recent reports suggest that without intervention, the trust fund could face significant shortfalls within the next decade. We're talking about a scenario where incoming tax revenues only cover about 75 to 80% of promised benefits. That means cuts would happen automatically unless Congress acts. So policymakers, on both sides of the aisle, though they disagree wildly on the solution, are scrambling to figure out how to keep Social Security solvent for the long term. And one of the ideas on the table is this benefit cap. The argument from supporters of the cap goes something like this. Social Security was designed as a social safety net, not as a wealth-building tool for higher earners. If someone is already receiving a pension, has retirement savings, and has other income streams, why should they also collect the maximum possible Social Security benefit? Cap the top-end benefits, redirect those savings into the trust fund, and extend the program's solvency for another generation. That's the logic. And on paper, it sounds reasonable to some people. But here's what the critics, and there are a lot of them, say in response. They say that Social Security is not a welfare program. It is an insurance program that workers paid into based on specific promises. Changing those promises after the fact is a breach of trust. And furthermore, capping benefits at the top doesn't actually save the trust fund. It just shifts the burden and creates new inequities in a system that was supposed to be straightforward. This part is important, so I want to say it clearly. As of right now, the $50,000 cap is not law. It has not been passed by Congress. But it is actively being discussed. It has been included in several legislative proposals. And given the political pressure around Social Security's finances, the conversation is only going to get louder as we move through 2026 and beyond, which means now is exactly the right time to understand it, prepare for it, and make smart decisions based on what you know today. So, what can you actually do right now? First thing, and I cannot stress this enough, go to the Social Security Administration's website and create or log into your My Social Security account. It's at ssa.gov. This is free, it's secure, and it gives you a full earnings history and projected benefit estimate based on your actual work record. You need to know your number. You need to know exactly what you're projected to receive, because that is your baseline. That is the information you need to have any serious conversation with a financial planner about your retirement strategy. Second, if you are within 10 years of retirement, this is the moment to sit down with a financial advisor. Not to panic, but to plan. Because even if the cap never becomes law exactly as proposed, something is going to change with Social Security. Something has to change, given the math. And the people who come out ahead are always the ones who planned for multiple scenarios instead of just assuming everything will stay the same. Ask your advisor specifically, what does my retirement look like if my Social Security benefit is capped at $50,000 a year? What's my gap? What other income sources can I build? Third, if you haven't already started thinking about additional retirement income, whether that's a Roth IRA, a 401k, rental income, part-time work, or even a small business, now is the time to start. I'm not saying Social Security is going away, it's not. But diversifying your retirement income is always smart, and it becomes even more important if there's any possibility that your expected Social Security check gets reduced. Now, I do also want to mention something that happens every single time there's big news about Social Security. Scammers come out of the woodwork. And I mean immediately. They call, they email, they send text messages saying things like, your Social Security benefits are being reviewed, or you need to verify your information to avoid a reduction in your payments. Please hear me on this. The Social Security Administration will never call you and ask for your Social Security number, your banking information, or any personal details over the phone. They communicate by mail. If you get a call like that, hang up. If you get an email like that, do not click anything. These are scams, and they specifically target people who are anxious about their benefits. Don't let fear make you vulnerable. Here's the bigger picture I want to leave you with. Social Security has been one of the most successful and important programs in American history. It has kept generations of seniors out of poverty. It has provided a foundation, not a ceiling, but a foundation, for millions of retirement plans. And the fact that it's under pressure right now is not a reason to panic. It's a reason to pay attention. It's a reason to be informed. It's a reason to take your retirement planning seriously and not leave it to chance or to hope that nothing changes. The people who are going to be okay through whatever reforms come, and reforms are coming one way or another, are the people who know their numbers, who have a plan, who are not caught off guard. That could be you. That should be you. You've worked too hard and too long to let something like this blindside you because you didn't hear about it in time. So, here's what I'm asking you to do today. Go check your My Social Security account. Look at your projected benefit. Write it down. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Your spouse, your parents, your sibling, your friend who's been putting off thinking about retirement because it feels overwhelming. It doesn't have to be overwhelming if you start now. Don't leave money on the table. Don't let policy changes happen to you while you weren't looking. Stay informed, stay prepared, and take care of yourself and the people you love. You've earned this. Make sure you protect it.